Hey guys, first off, before I start this review, I want to say that this is actually like my second time filming this review because I forgot to press the record button before I started, and yeah, I went on for like 10 minutes talking about this movie, and I feel like I'm not going to be as good as I did it that one time because I thought that that review was perfect. However, we're going to try it again. So anyway, this is my review for Shazam. Shazam was directed by David F. Sandberg and stars Zachary, Levi, and Mark Strong, and follows the story of Billy Batson, a young foster kid who gets the powers of Shazam and has to fight crime, fight an evil bad guy, and learn the meaning of family. And I was really excited to see this movie. I thought the trailers looked like a lot of fun, and honestly, I really enjoy watching superhero movies of characters that I really don't know anything about, and I didn't know anything about Shazam going in except for a few little things I've picked up here and there throughout, knowing a little bit about comics, but this was really my introduction to this character, and after watching this film, I'm a big fan of Shazam. I thought this was a fun, really enjoyable film. However, I don't think it's as good as fans and critics are saying. It does have its share of problems, and we will be getting into those. So anyway, let's really get started with the review. First off, I want to say Zachary Levi kills it in this film. He is so fun, so energetic, so funny. He just nails this role so well. He is such a fun presence in the film. The character is hilarious and really just heartwarming. I thought he did a terrific job in this film. He does a great job of playing a 15-year-old in an adult man's body. He does a great job here. In fact, my favorite moments are him just, acting like a kid, which the character is supposed to be a kid. And I really enjoyed that. I also loved the relationship between him and Freddie, the foster brother in the film. Their chemistry, their relationship is the heart of the film, and Zachary Levi and this kid, he's one of the boys from the new It movie. They have terrific chemistry together. They are so much fun watching, and honestly, they are the best part of the film. Their back and forth is hilarious. It's really great. Also, I think the film has some great action sequences. I think it's got some really good comedy in a lot of places. I also liked the message of family in the film, and that really plays a big part in the film. This film is very much a family film, and I really enjoyed that, and it made this film a little bit more fresh than your typical superhero film, which I really enjoyed. Also, I really loved this film's score. It is big, it is epic, and it is everything you need in a superhero movie score. Honestly, the other DC films have recently not had any really stellar scores, but nothing particularly memorable. This one is just a really fun theme, and I think it really fits with the tone of the film as well. Also, I love moments in this film when Billy and Freddie are trying to get stuff like that they can't get because they're children, and so Billy becomes Shazam to do a lot of these things, like they go out and buy beer, which turns out wrong for them. They also have moments of them going into a strip club, which I thought was hilarious. I think the second act of this film is just a lot of fun. I like watching them trying to test out his powers, seeing what he can and can't do. I thought that was a lot of fun. And the third act in general is a blast to watch. It's honestly my favorite part of the film. And it had a few surprises up its sleeve in the third act with moments that I didn't expect I was going to get, and it was a lot of fun. The third act has some great surprises, some fun action, and it's a really solid third act. And I really, really enjoyed that. Now, let's get into some of my negatives with the film. Honestly, when it comes to my negatives, the biggest problem I have with the film is sadly the first act of the film. And that's really disappointing because I was scared as soon as the movie started that I was not going to enjoy the film. In fact, I think the first scene of the film is terrible. I just don't think it works. It's not funny. It's honestly kind of awkward and just doesn't work. I don't know how to describe it, but it just didn't work for me. And then also, as we go on in the first act, the comedy does not land at all. I didn't laugh once during the first act of this film, and the character of Freddy, he has some really good lines later on in the film that I do laugh at. I didn't laugh at all at his jokes. I thought they were all just really bad in the beginning of this film. It's not until Zachary Levi shows up on screen during the second act that I really think this film finds its ground and just becomes a really fun, enjoyable film. But the first act of the film was honestly really poor and kind of terrible, and it really scared me throughout the rest of the film. Like, I was afraid that the rest of the film was going to be like that, but luckily it was not. It was a blast from that point on. But that first act, also, the movie has problems in terms of tone, specifically, again, in the first act. The director of this film, David F. Sandberg, has done horror in the past. And you can definitely tell that in this film, because there are some very horrific moments in this film that feel completely out of place and just out of left field altogether. It just is basically, the first act is trying to battle with itself. Like, what type of tone is this movie going for? Because honestly, the movie for the most part is very lighthearted until we get to these moments of just disturbing, scary monsters killing people, and it just doesn't work at all. And those are really my problems with the film, as well as Mark Strong's villain is not that strong. He's kind of bland. Mark Strong does a great job. He is terrific in the film. He's a fun villain, but the villain doesn't have that much depth, and he's not really that memorable either. Also, I think the film could have been cut down a little bit. The movie's about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I think this movie could have easily been around 2 hours. I especially started feeling it near the end of the film, while we were in the third act, where it just felt like it needed to end a little bit. And that's really one of the only complaints I have about, like, the second half of the film. But honestly, with the honestly not that good first act, I think the film still is a lot of fun. It has great characters, it has great chemistry, it's funny, it's lighthearted, and I really, really enjoyed myself for the majority of this film. And now it comes down to the rating for this film, which I find this really hard when I'm reviewing a film, is giving the score honestly. And it's really hard for this film in particular, because what exactly do you rate a film that you honestly hated the entire first act of, but loved the second and third act? Like, do loving the second and third act counteract the first act altogether, or does the first act being not that good ruin the rest of the movie? And that's something I'm still trying to figure out as I'm talking to you right now. So honestly, when it comes to this score that I'm going to give, it's not going to be a final score, because I feel like I need to see this movie again multiple times, and I do want to see this movie multiple times. However, I feel like this score is just kind of a little problematic. I feel like if I give it this score that I'm going to give, that down the line, I might like this film even more than I do right now. Or, who knows, I might not like it as much as I do right now. So I'm going to go with my gut on this one and give it a score that I think it deserves right now. Now, it could change. In fact, oftentimes my scores do change throughout the year as I reflect and think back. And, but this is what I think it's going to be right now. So anyway, guys, with all that said, I'm going to give Shazam a 7 out of 10. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I say you should go out and see Shazam. It's a lot of fun. It does have its share of problems, but I feel like most audience members will look over the first act. But I just really did not enjoy the first act of this film. However, I did enjoy the film overall. But anyway, guys, with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next review.